Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Crack Palantir, and I will be your host and game master for this episode 114 of Brise's Tale. And as always, my good buddy Max is here to play Brise, the Paladin. Max, say hello to the lovely people.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful evening, as always.
Yes, indeed. We had some problems last stream with Talk Studio just booting us off what we were broadcasting to, the two platforms we broadcast to. So we're going to try to keep an eye on that and see what's going on. You just send us a shout out if you see some problems, and we'll just have to work through them. I see someone's on. That makes me happy. So that's certainly one of our indicators, is that if our viewership drops to 0 instantly, then we know that there's a problem. So Max, why don't you give us a recap of what we were doing and where we were last stream, and then we will start playing.
Well, yeah, yesterday was a very interesting session. A lot of activity throughout the day. So ended up waking up. So we've been trying to get back to the town of Ballabry, and specifically Lady Miagral's Keep, where I'm kind of stationed from out where I am in the wilderness, from this temple I've been exploring the past couple of weeks. So we did start making our way south. We had a small encounter with a eagle named Atliu, which is we know the eagle Korokyle from some previous episodes. This is one of his members of his clan, right? And so I had a little brief conversation with them, warned them about the activity of Volshad in the valley, this necromancer, who we know is reaching into people's dreams and using their influence, or influencing people through their dreams, to gain power in the valley and eventually in civilized places as well. And while after that, we're walking through the valley, and we ended up coming across, it's very hard to describe in succinct words, but essentially probably the largest creature I've ever seen in Karandrin. This enormous, shadowy, but also semi-corporeal undead giant ended up blocking my path, and pretty much it could have been the end of Brise right there, but luckily it seemed to go off on its way, seemed to be controlled by someone else to serve some other purpose. And then we had a encounter with Walloon, a tree ent we had met previously, who has been tailing this undead beast, and they were able to explain a little bit that it's called a nalglyph, and we were able to deduce that yes, someone probably is controlling it, some other necromancer. And then when did we learn that? Oh, right, wasn't it that she went off to follow the nalglyph further, and then she came back and to me and mentioned what she saw, which was that it ended up, we know that Volshad was operating out of a small village to the north, and this giant apparently found this village, and I don't know, what did they describe it? Just like wrapped around it and disappeared. And now it flies the flag of the one Penn household, which we had seen before.
Right. The Penn clans are a nation to the east, and sort of this huge bowl of a desert that is also to the east. And so, yeah, the Penn clans, it's clearly a royal house of the Penn clans.
Right. And they were apparently able to take down Volshad's operation, or at least occupy the village he was operating out of, which is good. It means she might be out of the picture, but also don't know who this force is. Clearly much more powerful and much more much more direct, I have to say. Yeah, that encounter just had Brise messed up, encountering an undead of that magnitude. And I had fumbled a spell like 2 episodes ago really poorly. Really poor casting, I should say. So, yeah, it's we've just been relaxing pretty much most of the day. And yeah, it's midday now on June 15th. And we just have camp set up and are trying to recover.
Right. And you, I mean,
everything.
and the
recover as in, yeah, just gain my spiritual and mental fortitude back.
Yeah, it really does. There are levels of evil in the game that they just chill you. You've heard the expression, of course, being chilled to the bone, and this is an effect that the undead has. And the only way to really recover is to stay warm and to put yourself around things that are beautiful.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Brise loves camping outside. She loves the outdoors. And so that's certainly helping. The horse is slowly recovering. But if you die in such a state, there's a much greater chance that you rise as an undead. Aside from you'll just never be yourself, honestly, if you don't fix this problem.
If I raise as undead, then I will definitely be chilled to the bone.
You will be. You'll be one stone cold fox. Because Brise is, of course, crazy attractive. I should go to our things. Go to our.
Can I be an attractive undead, please?
That's right. Only
my guts, attractive skeletal figure.
Exactly. You have the most attractive entrails of any.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you are sort of napping throughout the day and recovering, but activity and just in the skies themselves
is abound.
Is plentiful. At least 2 more eagles appear. Great eagles appear over the valley. They are very high, and there are around mid-afternoon. You spot on a rise a group of ogres planting a banner on a hill as part of the distant, the far wall of the valley. And the banner is crudely drawn, but is the turret and the chariot, the house flag that you recognize to be that house of the Penn clans.
Right. Gotta get out of this valley. Slowly becoming consumed by this necromancer.
In one of your naps, you are visited by the Iron Empress. Okay. And she she's dressed in a gown of green. Serpents entwine her feet and her legs. Her daggers are sheathed, and she tells you in the dream that it would be of great service to her glory if you can learn more about Mugral's court and
Right.
The names of her top advisors and any information about them, their interests, their enemies.
Hmm.
The elven woman who
Right.
often appears in these is further back than she usually is. And she, shakes her head no at you very quietly, and and as usual, she always stays out of Wanbray's view, right? If Wanbray is walking and talking, and turns a certain way, the elven lady lightly dodges, any peripheral view that the Iron Empress might have.
Her name is Begandra, by the way, elven woman.
That's right.
Yeah. Begandra. There. Well, I tell the Empress that, obviously I'm lying when I say this, right? I'll say something I'll try to do. It might take me some time. Migral and her advisors are very, very busy. It's hard to find out much about them.
Oh, you're so young, she says. You never ask the advisors. Just ask the servants. I can even feel that you know the servant to ask. Quite a little gossiping hen, isn't she?
There is gossip does run pretty freely at the keep, though it's hard to know what to trust and what not to. But I would like to turn the table a little bit. I'm going to ask her. I will try to do this if perhaps you can help me with something myself, Your Grace. And I mentioned there's been another force moving throughout the valley. It seems they bear a crest with a chariot and a tower. That's what it was, right? Do you know who the
chariot and a tower? Yeah.
Right. And ask, do you know anything about them? And
roll for me.
24.
Something passes across her face very quickly. It's really funny. Like, I'm looking at your skills, and of course I have your skills modified by certain items, but in a dream, of course, no items, right? Do items affect you during dreams?
That's a really interesting. Well, oh my gosh, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Right.
I've never heard of a role-playing game that has thought of that rules, right?
Right.
Considered that. Time to make it.
I know, right? Like, I guess if it affects your mental abilities, and dreaming is a mental ability.
Right. If it's on my person while I'm sleeping, right?
Right. Right. But it can affect your physical abilities because there is no physicality in the dream. So it's very interesting. So maybe mental abilities if you're in contact with the item, but not. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Begandra, the elven woman, she nods to you, yes. Oh, and she signals further to you. I probably should just mime it to you.
She does this. Turns like rating.
And yeah, right. And then like you just run and try to steal second because that's what you thought she was signaling, and you feel like an idiot. Just a complete moron.
Just dream up a whole like baseball.
Create a game.
What is this sport? This hasn't been invented. What?
Exactly. It turns out baseball may have already existed in England, and it was just reinvented in America,
Right.
and made American.
Rudimentary, yeah.
So, you know what I should do is just roll for your understanding. And
it's also a sport that's existed forever is skydiving, actually.
So as long as you've got a cliff,
yeah,
they
weren't quite properly equipped back then, but
that's right. So clearly what she signals to you is Volshad now works for this house.
Oh, okay.
Volshad says to you that a distant and great lord has now entered her fold. Has come under her wing of, has come to her seeking guidance and help.
Right.
And that her family of followers grows.
Okay. Yeah.
And she says, but I will be interested, of course, in any news you hear about the house of that symbol, especially if they enter Lady Miagral's keep or her seat there at Balabry. Roll for me.
80. I mean, she clearly is trying to get me to get information for her is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, she's trying to gauge how far these fingers have stretched.
Which is the inverse. I was going to see if she could give me some protection from them, but I'm like, well, I guess she is also at their mercy.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I say, as you wish. I'm just the tiny fish in the food chain.
That'd be great when you're like level 50 and you're like, you have all these like resources now, because even a level 50 guy would have trouble dealing with this unless they've got the right tools.
Right. I mean, yeah.
But like, you go to a buddy and you're like, I'm tired of this. Can we deal with this? And so the dream ends fairly peacefully. You wake up bothered, but having at least rested, giving you a lot to think about. The eagle activity continues through the day. You can tell they're remaining very high.
Right.
Only your particular experience with them lets you even identify them as great eagles at the height that they're going. I mean,
I wonder if they're scanning for something. I was going to say, if my horse and I recover enough, right, to make a little progress, that would be. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I should just rest the whole day. It would be nice to be out of this valley and back on the road, but.
Well, I mean, at least there's.
Yeah. I mean, there's water. I've got disguise camp, which I just cast. So.
And yeah. So we should, I guess, we let people know he did disguise his camp using magic just before the stream.
Right. So probably better to stay put, even if I'm feeling good to travel.
Right. Roll for me.
32.
It's sort of a 50-50 situation. You feel like she's probably been forced to reveal most of her assets anyway.
Right.
And so it'll be interesting to see if she reveals the whether she's got the dreams going or not to whoever this new power is. But more to the point, they had an opportunity to attack you and they didn't.
Right, that's true. They had two opportunities, yeah.
And so now you've got, so there's some sense now that you may be in the same situation you were before.
Right.
Right. Unless it's sort of an animal or a beast unaffiliated with either of these powers, then otherwise you should be safe.
Yeah.
It's just unsettling to be here.
Mm-hmm. It's there's unrest. As what was his name? I just watched the whole 10 minutes. Unrest. It's he's from like Algeria, I think, or
no, he's Armenian and Azerbaijan.
Right, and he's like, it's like when you're trying to rest, but you need the UN.
That's unrest. That's right. Yeah, Rufat Agayev.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, I can't. We're looking for live shows for him. So if we find one, we'll let you know.
That whole Don't Tell comedy, I should check them out. They do weekly things. They're coming to Dallas December 14th.
Okay.
I don't know who it is, but it's a different person each week. So.
Yeah, that could be fun. Yeah, if you find out, shoot us a text.
Yeah.
So the rest of the day, you do see dark things in the sky. There's a multi-tendrilled something flying, but it has these 3 streamers behind it that look more substantive than cloth or wing. It lands on a crest ahead of you and seems to scan the valley and then takes off again.
So could you describe it again? It was kind of like cloth-like?
It's like a large mass with sort of like a sort of triangular, but with a rounded end. And then trailing from that end
I see.
Are 3 streamers that seem more substantive than cloth or feather, maybe tentacles. Yeah. But it was very dark, seemingly rather large, maybe wreathed in shadow. It landed on a distant summit, headed the same way you're ultimately headed. And it seemed to land for a moment and regard the valley as a whole, turning what seemed to be sort of a pointed head. And then it launched itself in the air again and continued southward.
Okay. Not gonna mess with that. Nani, go.
That's right.
Take it down.
Horse's recovery continues to be slow. You were trying to show it affection and care, keeping it close to the fire. Night falls. Anything you need to do before we just do your bedtime rolls?
No, not really. There's still some more of those letters I remember from. Have we finished looking through those from Kelbero?
These are the letters detailing an effort to uncover a heretic in the old temple, right?
Yes, and I didn't finish reading them. Actually, it was one or while I was reading them, what's her face? Volshad ended up kind of interrupting me.
Right.
Had that interaction. So if I feel like reading, I can read those, but we'll just go to bed. Let's say need to finish reading. See if there's a conclusion to them.
You go through. You reach a point where the addressee no longer. Chalbaro was the writer or the addressee?
Kelbaro was the addressee, I believe. Sorry. Oops. Yeah, letters addressed to Kelbero.
So the letters to Kelbero.
Okay, so yeah, right. These are letters being written to Kelbero at the temple, who is
The spy.
the mole who's trying to root out this heretic inside the temple. So we're just reading the responses the responses received from the outside source.
Right. So this new letter, this last letter to Kelbaro, says, because you're basically reading them backwards,
right?
In time, and it says, "May you have more luck than your predecessor." Extreme caution, of course, should be taken, as we suspect Indral's fall was not an accident.
I'm sorry, I was reading Quinn's comment. Can you say that again? He said, "Night falls across the land, takes 17 damage." Ow! What was that? Oh my God.
Actually, Night takes the damage because it's the one that fell. So, so it's
she said more luck than your predecessor.
We certainly suspect that Indral's fall was not an accident.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The subsequent, the letters then that precede those begin addressing Indral.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Indral was female. Because there's a reference in the letter to talking to the other female initiates.
Mm. So they're either a female or a really creepy dude. Why do you keep hanging around all these female initiates?
That's right. So that's as far as you get. To bed you go. So give me your 3 rolls. First is dreams.
80.
You do have a dream.
There we go.
Peaceful, pleasant, don't really remember it. You're just glad of it.
I'm glad I have a dream I don't remember.
That's right.
Into the Iron Empress.
Next is hour of waking up.
90. That's really funny. I rolled 90 and then you didn't ask for anything, so I rolled it again and I got 90.
No, weird.
Yeah.
So wake up midday.
Okay.
And then how are you feeling?
I'm feeling 100, baby. Woohoo! Never better.
Did you roll a 100?
Yeah.
Fantastic. You do feel like you have largely recovered from the soul chill that had permeated you.
Nice.
Your horse seems about the same, but you think you can coax it a mile or 2.
Okay.
And Alani continues her, she shook that off very quickly.
Yeah.
So you send up a prayer to Oxir for the recovery of your horse, and then off you go.
For guys, Oxir is what he's like, war and like tactics.
War and commerce.
Yeah. Is there a horse god I could pray to?
Haviland is god of nature.
Well, yeah. Let's give prayer to Haviland too. You never know.
War, yeah, God, war, commerce, and stars. So war is referred to as the red trade, particularly among the goblins. And violence generally is referred to as Oxir's deal. And so
right.
That's often like a threat is, we can end this peacefully, or we can make an Oxeer's deal.
Right.
You know,
I gotta remember that. That'd be fun to use in actual like role playing.
Oxeer's symbols are the battle axe, the great star with the lesser star below, and the dog is sort of considered a favored animal, and often it's a large sort of like Saint Bernard like dog, often seen in the mountains and used by shepherds and cattle. People raise cattle and things like that. So yeah, the
Obi-Wan Karen, when was the last time Max did a miracle roll? I don't answer that. I just forget. I'm sorry.
The primary miracle roll is for him to remember to do a miracle
Yeah,
roll.
honestly, I should just miracle roll, see if I remember. You know, actually, I did. I think the last one was the 2 or 3 episodes ago where I tried to open the door that was blocked by rubble. I had rolled 100 previously.
And
we have to do a miracle roll this session so we can say that wasn't the last one I did, right?
That should be that's Obi-Wan's job, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a miracle roll now just for my horse to make a full recovery would not be. We'll see if he really if he can't make it out of the valley, might have to do that.
There is a flash of silver as you're making your way down the valley.
Okay.
Flash of silver to the west. It's gone in an instant. And see, Obi-Wan is a miracle in her own right, I would say. Then there is a flash of shadow above you, a gust of wind, and a great eagle lands in the most, at the most breakneck speed you've ever seen. I mean, you really feel the wind almost knock you down. They must come right over the treetops. It is a white and silver great eagle. It pierces you with its gaze, even though you're hundreds of yards away. It gestures with its beak, and then it carefully backs itself under the boughs of a great tree.
Okay.
It's going to be more than an hour to get there, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I guess I have no choice. It's just like come climbing out of the bushes, like, oh, he's like, what do you want? And he's like, I just want to say hi.
Exactly.
Damn it.
Yeah, there's a new Starbucks in the valley. I'm just going to dream up business. You eventually work your way over there. The creature looks bored, regarding you, unimpressed. It must be one of those of the different coloration. No dark plumage on it. Its breast is white with some speckles of brown.
Right.
Otherwise, it's silver. Some brown tips on the things, but it is very light colored. It must be one of Veshtar's clan.
Veshtar, that's who it was. Yeah, who's a friend of Korakal, right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay. An ally, or at least they said. Yeah. I say you've summoned me here. I hope.
In a sort of strangely accented Elven. You do speak Elven, right? I'm not about to screw it up. Yeah. It says, "Hear me, human. I am Alaver, son of Veshtar.
There's about like 20 fire trucks outside. No, none of that's coming through the mic.
No.
When you roll for activity, I guess it's affecting the real world too, man. Jeez.
It's one of my problems.
Hello there. Aloe, very nice to meet you.
He says, I've come to announce you as friend of Veshtar.
All right.
Korakyle would urge it to be so. So it is so.
Okay.
It seems you are both asset and liability to us. Now that a new power fills this valley. No longer will Veshtar's people be so idle. Korakyle's words are these: the eagles must be vigilant.
Okay.
And care for our friends. Thus, I am here to offer you and your beast passage out of here as quickly as possible. I cannot say that it will not be terrifying to one who has not flown.
Oh my gosh.
We must go fast.
I mean, yeah, Brise is not a fan of heights. And I don't know if I trust this guy with my horse either.
Roll it up.
Let's see how I feel. 40.
And again.
83.
He's as disdainful of humans as you feel him to be.
Yeah.
But you also feel him to be a creature of duty, a being of duty.
I've never had a reason not to trust the Eagles.
But hey, if you need a reason that you really don't want to get on that thing going 90 miles an hour, the 150 miles an hour.
You know what? Go ahead.
You saw how fast he passed over you.
Yeah.
And it's clear that he was trying not to be seen.
Yeah, that sounds pretty terrifying. I say, how would I word it? Yeah. It might be much more sensible for you to guide me out of the valley, and I go at my own pace. You could, if there is a road or somewhere you could spot from high above, I could make it out of here quickly and without risking my life.
You endanger us with your cowardice. He hops forward, grabs you in a claw.
Oh my God. I guess we're doing an Oxier's deal then. Let's go.
Well, that's my question to you.
Well, oh man. I don't want to have the Eagles. I mean, this is his son. This is the leader of this clan, right? I know how nobility works. So I will resist the urge, to
Lash
swing
out.
at this guy.
He beats his wings. The horse screams and runs.
Oh.
He whacks it down, grabs it in a claw.
I forgot how big these guys
you
are.
In the air, catches you on his back. You just clutch on in terror.
All right.
He grabs the horse with the other.
That's Brise leveling up right there. That's enough experience.
While simultaneously peeing on a great eagle's back.
Oh my gosh. Oh, your plumage is becoming yellow. How is that happening?
You called me yellow.
Now look.
Clearly, the weight of the horse is significant. He can't move nearly as quickly as.
I mean, also help Nalani can keep up. Be like.
Nalani you have to very quickly keep her from going at the eagle's eyes.
Yeah.
And you feel her protecting this over you, and it's a very touching feeling.
Yeah.
She clings to you and really hunkers down to be aerodynamic. Off you guys go. And it is like nothing you've done before. I mean, it's similar, I guess, to riding the large priest bird you came across.
Yeah.
Which is capable of carrying you.
I thought that was scary then. If that's Disney World, this is Six Flags.
Yeah.
Really crazy rides.
6 feathers. He takes you straight south, very low over the trees. He turns to you, as much as he can while flying, and says, "Damn you! We've been spotted."
Well, I really do feel like a friend of the Eagles, I gotta say. Okay. I try. I mean, I shout back, "Spotted by whom?" I scan the horizon.
It is that great shadow that landed on the summit.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The thing crawls on top of another summit. It's at the mouth of the valley where you believe the road passes. So it apparently is a new watcher on the road.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You can feel the body of the eagle tense. The wreath of shadows parts. And it is this strange one-eyed creature with a great red eye.
Oh my gosh.
A sort of bulbous scaled body. And indeed it has tentacles that go down, but then they split into 2. And with that, it clutches the rock.
Jeez.
It has a huge, heavy beak that curves down. The road is no good to us, the eagle cries to you. I cannot set you down now.
I mean, I can ask him to take me to Mirgral Keep, like outside the keep on the mountainside. That's what I say.
It is possible he has not seen you. He has certainly seen your horse. I'm afraid we must make a bit of a play. He lands on a summit with enough room for you and the horse. He deliberately throws you off on the far side of the summit away from the creature.
Okay.
He pins your horse down.
I see, yeah.
And eats it.
Wait, no. Wait, he's not actually. He's protecting you, right? No. No. Oh my God. I mean, I'm gonna yell at him to stop. Stop. No.
He says, the gore-covered beak turning towards you, he says, silence yourself. Use what arts you can to hide yourself.
Oh my God.
If he has not seen you, then that means I have merely hunted a rider's horse.
Hunted my horse. What could I do? I mean, I'll down a potion of the chameleon. That's probably the best thing I got. I have a scroll of invisibility, but it might be overkill.
Yeah, that's the thing to worry about. Overkill at this moment.
I don't know. I don't know what he means. All right, scroll of invisibility. I'm terrified, and I don't think I could cast a spell.
Roll it up. Let's find this a scroll.
Scroll 23.
Not great. But so 15 exhaustion, but you are now invisible.
All right.
He says, well done. Remain motionless in the snows. You will leave tracks.
Man, I gotta write all this down. Oh, that sucks. Jeez.
But the good thing is,
horse, salt shaker, forks and knife, forks and knife.
That's great, Quid. That's great, Quid.
Is that a horse? Yeah, that is. There's 2 horse emojis. That's funny.
There's 2? I only see 1.
Well, there's one of the head that Obi-Wan Karen posted, and then
yes.
Quinn posted one of the whole body. But I mean to say 2. Yeah, there's 2 variations.
The creature has lost interest in us, Oliver says. Our plan has worked. I am sorry for your beast. But now, without having to worry about your horse, you can teleport.
Miracle roll, my horse is still alive.
That is a weird one. No. Let's just say it's still animated.
Oh, God. No, I don't think I even want that to come true. Jeez. Okay. I mean, this is true. Okay.
Do you have... so he sort of picks off gear and throws it to you.
Wait, he picks off... Oh, gear. Yeah. Okay. If I have the wherewithal to ask what that creature was, and if it's who sent it.
The new force in the valley. As to what it is, I do not know.
Okay. I think this fucker was just hungry. He was looking for a free meal.
Right.
Okay.
Axe, fire, chicken drum, and bug smiley face. Oh, I see. I think you're being led to make the first chicken wing.
Now, well, or is he talking about Nalani now? Nalani's next.
Nalani's next. That's what we'll title this episode. Nalani's next.
God.
If you bag your gear and you're ready to leave, then I can take you outside the place of bridges where I understand you live.
I tell him that, well, without my horse, I can teleport, actually use my arts to get back home myself. So I think I will do that. Thank you very much.
I would go while the creature has looked away. I will continue to feign eating.
Okay. Yeah, I guess no time for discussion, really. I can't think of anything to... I was joking about an Oxear's deal, but that's literally what happened.
Well, yeah, it's
Wow, we're out of this. Okay. Yeah, I'll teleport. I don't want to risk this thing catching us. So try to teleport to the keep using my channeling water skin here. So that is a 95 to roll.
roll again and add it.
55. And then a 100 for aim. Oh my gosh. Okay.
1 exhaustion point.
Wow.
You teleport. There's no typical disorientation, and you're like, wow. So a really good casting is what, a really bad, an average casting is what causes the disorientation and confusion.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it is the sudden change of setting,
Right.
but so much more of it is the speed, the quality of the casting.
Interesting.
Yeah, you appear exactly where you want to be. There's some blood on you from just shoving things into bags. Do you want to cancel the invisibility?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to walk into the keep being invisible.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long day. I think I'll just come back to the keep and go to my quarters. I can send a note to Athene, saying that I've arrived safely back.
All right. You make it back. There is a level of activity. It looks social. A lot of flowers are being unloaded. There's a herd being brought into the keep that might very well be for either it's a herd of sheep, so they've got very full coats on, so it could be for shearing and then just making use of it. It could be to pay a large tax or fine. It could be for slaughter. they're going to choose the best animals and then send them away for slaughter. So you might include in your note then, that you're available for any social gathering if needed.
Oh, right. Yeah.
In case you need to be paraded about as a new servant, a new guest of great interest. Yeah, no one in the courtyard that particularly like approaches you, so you don't see, Fraldrum or any of the others who might, want a word.
Right.
Go straight to your quarters and just kind of process the day.
Yeah, clean up, just unload everything.
Right. So, I guess we'll take a break, don't you think? Right at 8.
Yeah, I think it's a good time.
And we'll run to stretch our legs and refill our drinks, guys. Just give us a few minutes, and we'll be back out in a few minutes. All right. So just hang with us, and we'll see what else happens. Hi, everybody. Let's get Max back on here. There's our buddy Max.
Urgent news. I just realized, just found out that apparently Twitch has shut down in South Korea. So there goes almost all of our viewership.
That's right. That's right. I saw that. I saw that on Reddit, and it's like, well, I don't want to check it out. I mean, I don't know.
I have no idea. I just one of my streamers was live and I just checked it really quick and he's just talking about it. I'm like, okay, just learn about this.
That's funny.
Apparently.
So we got you back to Lady Mirror's Keep.
That's right. He was so hungry he could eat a horse. Now, every time anyone says that, Brise is just like,
you're probably too young to get this. It's Triggering. Trigger was a famous horse on TV. It was.
Okay. Okay.
Like black and white cowboy show.
No, I understood the first meaning, but yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So I guess it was Trigger was Gene Autry's horse.
Like an intelligent horse or just a TV
No,
horse?
just his, trusty companion kind of horse. I think it was Gene Autry. Gene Autry was one of the very first TV cowboys. And he was also known as a singer. So he was in this genre called the singing cowboy, very nostalgic kind of stuff. 1950s kind of television, wholesome and this sort of thing. And so, but I mean, really did shape a lot of the sort of wholesome notion of a cowboy that we kind of have today. Rough and tumble, but ultimately noble. A little bit of Americana is that cowboys were generally viewed as just ruffians and untrustworthy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and I feel like they were realistic. They were just cattle workers, essentially.
Right. But it was the Eastern newspapers that began painting this. Roy Rogers. Thanks, Quinn. Roy Rogers, right.
Right. Okay. That name rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah. Along those same lines. Very much along those same lines. So Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, all the 1950s and all sort of this wholesome sort of thing. But the Eastern papers are the ones that really romanticize sort of the cowboy as a lone and this sort of thing. And of course, it's all romanticized crap now that all of our parents watch. Yeah. And so, well, at least my parents used to watch it. Your parents are probably less indoctrinated in that.
I just remember my mom being like, "Oh yeah, cowboys and Indians, that's cool, right?" And I'm like, "No, like it's not. I don't want. The Indians are cool. Like, I want to learn about them. Like, their culture. Like, I don't want."
Oh, Gene Autry's horse was Champion. I don't guess I ever knew that, Quinn. Thanks for straightening that out. Yeah, Silver, of course, is Lone Ranger. I learned on QI, Quinn, that with the invention of the atomic bomb, there was this crazy fad in America over the atomic bomb and radiation. And so Lone Ranger had an atomic ring. And you get it in cereal boxes and things like this. So here it is, set 100 years before the frickin' invention of the nuclear bomb, or 80 years before. And he has an atomic ring. Anyway, it's just kind of funny. So, all right. So back at the keep, sent out a note. Runner comes to you with a note about an hour later. It's mid-afternoon now. You are just indulging yourself in rest and comfort and just really processing things, putting away gear, sending out laundry, and so on. You really could begin, acquiring. You get Aldrich to make you stuff now and have a whole change of.
Yeah, I was going to say I've been thinking about doing that for a while. And now I'm finally back at the keep. I can turn that into an actual plan.
The note is from Athene. Athene, for anyone following, she's Castellan, right? She's Castellan of the keep, so she's in charge of security and other things.
Yeah.
Uh, so it so the notice from Athene, it tells you that Lady Aneve is due in this evening for a big dinner. Roll for me.
49.
Neve, you know, is a lady equal in status. She would be essentially a countess, that is, she rules over a county, the same way that Lady Neogral does. You know, she's relatively nearby, but where, you don't know.
That's why they're called county. Yeah, count, county, and countess.
Yeah, yeah. A baron rules over a barony.
Right.
And
that really puts it into perspective. Like, that's not very powerful. I mean, somewhat if you're a rich county, right? But
exactly. It's
a lot of counties in Texas that are like, huh?
Right, and that's you should look at the Robin Hood law here in Texas that got defeated. Very interesting, and it shows you the limitations of American patriotism, I think. Okay. Because I grew up in a very rural county, right? And so our tax base for education was very little. But of course, counties that just had more people had more money. And so they get more resources than we do.
Yeah.
And there you go. So, you know, Karen talks about how many computer labs they had at their school.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like 4 times the number we had for twice the population. So essentially per student, they had twice the number of computer labs we had.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, but the Robin Hood law attempted to adjust that and make it even across the state. And of course, it was the rich counties who opposed it.
Mm-hmm.
I find it just hilarious. People who grow your food don't deserve equal education. So
yeah, it's kind of a shame. And like educating other people in rural areas might balance the political, you know, we won't have so many separate people.
I actually had someone argue with me on Facebook because they're talking about like paying for education and why should senior citizens pay for education? They don't get any benefit out of it. And they furthered their argument saying, why is it my problem that anyone else gets an education? I said, yeah, I don't see why it would matter at all that my doctor is educated. I mean, it's completely absurd.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, so a lady in Neve, she says, you're not expected to attend. If you would like to attend, it can certainly be arranged. But she would have to know now as arrangements are being made, and we need to find you a proper setting, you know.
Okay. I guess, how do I feel? I could, I'm usually not one for like parties and crowds, but if it is, you know,
it sounds like
Negral's court, but
it sounds like such a change of pace.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you've not, I mean, you know, last time you've done something like this was, you know, like probably a year ago at, you know, for your parents going to some social function.
Yeah. So the last conversations I've had were with an eagle, with a necromancer, and
exactly.
my horse. I think I need to talk to some humans.
That was the last conversation you had with your horse. That was
the last. Okay. Yes, I'll send a reply saying I eagerly accept your invite.
Oh, you may need a gown.
Well, I do have a very nice dress. I don't know if gown, when you say gown, you mean a specific type of dress, but
yeah, we need to know, probably visiting royalty or nobility, it's going to be higher end even than that.
Really? Yeah, okay.
And so
let me see, how much did I pay for this?
Soon.
Very fancy orange dress, 80 gold pieces is about the price. Fancier than that?
Yeah, probably 3 or 4 times that.
Oh my God. All right, I will put that in my note for sure that I may need
so that would be certainly like something equal to high level commerce, like your parents were involved in, your grandparents.
Right.
That would represent very well.
I'll put that down here. High level commerce, kind of. Yeah.
So the So Aldrich and a group of seamstresses swoop in. They it's all goblins and a couple of humans. You just break down crying and clutch onto Aldrich. I rolled for a very emotional response, good, like a 160. He likewise has to hide his tears, it being
Aw.
a less liberated time. They
No crying, it'll ruin the fabric. It's cashmere.
exactly.
Can't do that.
They take your measurements. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
I did take my allergy pill today, but geez, they. He says we're gonna find something among the wardrobes that we can modify quickly.
Okay.
He sort of whispers to you, is all well?
I say, well, more or less. There are some things I want to get off my chest, but I'm in one piece at least.
He tells you he'll ask for tomorrow off. He expects it'll be granted because they've been working for 2 days straight on this.
Oh yeah,
getting everything ready, and squeezes your hand, and off he goes. About an hour later, this number appears at your door. The ladies, all snicker and tell you that Aldrich couldn't be here for your final fitting, and it is this beautiful blue number. It is. It has gems sewn into it, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is probably low 4 digits.
Wow. Multi-mithril.
They yeah, so it fits really well. It's comfortable as women's clothes can be in this era. They take it off, and they tell you that there'll be the young lady sent here to help you back into it. You've got a good 2 hours before you need to be ready.
Okay.
And so all that goes pretty smoothly. And it's just, kept in your bedroom and up on a mannequin, and
Run again. It's what's the lady visiting the keep?
oh Lord,
It started with a G, I think.
Aveen?
Gravine, yeah.
Anive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aneve.
Anive.
Anee.
Oh. Eeve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just her arrival here, visiting.
It's going to be a whole supper, and she's visiting Lady Mia Grawl. If you want more information, you know who to go to. You've already seen her in the halls several times.
Right. The one, my faithful gossiping servant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if she's just visiting. Imagine when they have a baby. It's crazy. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to wave her down. If I have some time and get the scoop on what's happening and who's going to be here.
She is rushing about and so on. Your whole hall is filled with guests you've not seen before. Your hall was largely empty.
Right.
Here you get the sense that these are lower courtiers like knights and things like that. People who have small estates, who contribute arms in times of war, things like that. They several attempt to make conversation with you, but you make your excuses and get her alone. She's very rushed, but is trying to be as attending as she can.
Right.
You ask for gossip on what's going on tonight. Her face, of course, lights up. Let's talk about some target questions you want answered.
Yeah. Well, so we'll ask about what's the lady Anive's relationship with Mia Grawl, friendly or not, and what does it seem like they want from each other?
They have been friends since the death of Anive's aunt, who used to rule the county. This is the county to the one east, on the eastern border of Algret.
Right. Okay.
So one county over beyond Algret's. She befriended that family, sort of gaining a lot more influence with them than Algret ever had.
Right.
County is wealthy. A lot of its wealth is mineral wealth that then gets transported to. Let me see which one of these it would be. Grab my old antique map here. A lot of it gets transported to Gorb on the east side of the mountains, and some of it, no doubt, does make it down to the dwarves in Garamore, which is the northernmost city of the dwarves.
Right.
Sorry, not Garamore. Gordovan. Garamore is the country on the peninsula. So Gordovan, you kind of begrudgingly work with them because they pay well. Yeah. And there are goblin smiths that are allowed in that dwarven hold. If they're of sufficient renown, then they begrudgingly let them in. Mm-hmm. So they have a lot of mineral wealth, a lot of mines that put out gems. And so there's a lot of money there. They also have strong ties with the capital, which is Hanrock, because they are heavily involved in the wars over the river that runs that side of the mountains when they fight the Pin clans over it. Mm-hmm. They've been a steadfast bastion, organizing troops and the logistics, feeding troops and so on when they go to war against the Pin clans over possession of that river.
Right.
And of course, the Pin clans being a desert nation, that river is extraordinarily important. And both countries want control of both sides of the bank.
Yeah.
I guess literally this is they seek control of this river's west bank.
Yeah. Okay.
Pun intended. But it's so.
Are you supporting? Are you pro Pen or pro Goblin? That's
that's right. Exactly.
That's the question everybody's asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many words are.
I also ask about. Do you know Anive if she has any a court magician or any other users of the magical arts on her staff here? And if you could know their names or describe them, I'd like to keep my eyes out for them.
Oh, now here's a point of contention. Mm. Hers is a pin woman.
Oh.
Not much liked, I don't mind telling you. She's known as Karash, Carash.
Okay.
Dark and brooding. They call her the white cactus. This is all in white, but just as prickly as they come.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Any other targeted information before you're going to let her go?
I think on that about. I just ask any other very what how did I say it right? Is there anyone else very powerful here from her court? You know, anyone dangerous here from Aniv's court, maybe to look out for?
Aniv's father is no longer able to travel or rule, why she now rules.
Oh, okay.
But he was one of the great generals of his day. But as I said, no longer. His youngest son is here, spoiled, violent. It is commonly said among many women not to be caught in a room alone with him.
Mm. Well, if he gets caught in this room alone with me, I have a lot of weapons over in the corner. So, I'm sure they're all tucked away. I don't want them laying out.
Right. His name is Bozzin, Bozzin.
Bozzin. I just like the idea that like we're all like milling about and people like kind of like, you know, look at my room and like, wow, there's just a bloody mace there on the floor. Okay, I'm not going to question that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, don't worry about it. I'm an adventurer.
Everything is fine.
It's what we do. Boiled. And okay. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to ask her then.
Off she rushes, attending to other guests.
I need to remember. I think her gossip is usually kind of accurate, right? A little. Sometimes I remember it's misses the mark. So I just got to.
Usually, the more ridiculous it is, you can pick it out and say,
"Yeah, exactly."
That's probably not true.
Yeah.
Certainly, some of the things with HR turned out to be ridiculous.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
And some of the things with Ordia.
Okay, Bozzin is here.
You find yourself getting very excited about the evening.
Yeah.
You are dressed.
Dressed to the nines.
There are ushers that take people to the central hall. There's a ballroom immediately upstairs where dancing will occur afterwards.
Oh, Wait, so where are we in the keep? Are we like more in the?
You're in the Great Hall where she would receive important
Right.
guests.
Okay.
Um, so you are walked in, you're announced.
Well, thank you.
Your title is a hand. You're a hand of Lady Meagraw's, meaning you're a non-land holding
Right.
guest, that serves at her pleasure.
I am Meagraw's pleasuring hand.
That's right. You're led to your seat. There it seems, it's mid-ranking functionaries, that sort of thing. Everyone introduces themselves. Not a lot. No one really strikes you here as particularly interesting.
Yeah.
Neve is young, average looking. Dressed in considerable finery, but Lady Meagraw, as usual, is in her understated sort of smock.
Yeah.
Very fine material. It's white with black trim. She wears the gold tiara of her family line. It's gold with sapphires, and a gold ring with a great sapphire surrounded by tiny diamonds.
Yeah.
You can tell that she's certainly thin for her people. She's also, as you sort of regard the whole, she's quite attractive.
Neve?
No.
Or Meagraw?
Meagraw, despite her age and so on.
Right.
So there's an orchestra that plays quietly. Food is served.
Continue the joke. It's an eagle drumstick.
That's right. That's right.
Now we were just talking about like, yeah, how Brise is like, it's like, man, how could anyone like kill great eagles? That's terrible. But now I'm like, man, yeah, they can be kind of ruthless. Like, yeah.
I can't get over my hunger for an eagle wing. I just want to try it one time.
Just opinion, please.
That's right, opinion. I want to get opinion of opinion.
Opinion on opinion. Oh my God.
So as the evening wears on and you're just doing niceties and talking, one person does stand out at the table, and that is older goblin male. He is the head tailor for Neeb's keep.
Okay.
And you find yourselves talking about Aldrich and these sorts of things. You like him. You feel like
don't do this to me.
No. You feel like he's trustworthy.
Okay.
You find your trust for him growing. In passing, you do learn a couple of things.
Okay.
And that is that the relationship between Aneve and Algrit has been growing more distant because Algrit will not just let go of his hurt pride. And it strains the relationships in the South.
Yeah.
And sort of a close to breaking point for Aneve is that Algrit has been sort of grooming Bozin, right, the youngest son.
Yeah.
Sort of grooming him as a warmonger.
Oh boy.
That, you know, problems even between goblin houses should be settled by war. It's noble. It's how true goblins settle things. And that to meddle in her house is just really doesn't sit well with Aneve, but she's so young she doesn't know exactly how to intervene. His name is Rommis, Rommis. Clearly likes his drink, clearly likes his food. It sort of gives you the impression of a man who would probably have done great things had he not been so wooed by wealth and comfort.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's a little pity for him in that sense. And the others, you know, you're challenged, of course. Always goblins sort of begin a relationship with quips and insults.
Yeah.
And I just sort of give a general role for your performance there, and you basically impress everybody.
Okay.
Like 151.
Nice.
And so you give us more than you get.
Yeah, I am dishing it out.
Yeah, and so and you were sort of asked questions about your role and so on. And
I was gonna say, oh man, I'm sorry. Before I go too far, I wanted to ask about my family, like the family business that I have.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any way I could kind of, ask about any, like mention, my family has a merchant, and they're like try to get them some funding, right, or some type of interest.
Yeah, try to get them contact here.
Contact, that would be, if there's anyone who are looking for trade of, I can't remember what my family sells, right? I guess we could.
It's high-end finishings for watercraft.
That's right. Okay.
But they could do, anything like
high-end woodworking. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
that goes on. I just want to be.
Yeah, so you drop that in there. It does seem to land with a couple of people, like they're clearly trying to remember the name and that they're in Grattenlau.
Okay.
And there is at least one guest who makes regular visits to Grattenlau on behalf of the court. Some high-ranking official within that court has some fondness for some product that way.
Right.
And so they go and secure that, every 3 months or so. I think I told you I was reading this ancient text I'd found translated online. I was reading it. It was going on about the luxuries of like kings, and this is when we say kings in the ancient world, we sometimes, not infrequently, mean the king of a city-state, right?
Yeah.
A few hundred square miles and a major city.
Right.
And the level of luxury that they would have, which surprises me because the level of it was outrageous.
Yeah.
This one king simply, I don't walk on anything but silk and roses. That's what I walk on. And so there were servants with him everywhere with rolls and rolls of basically red carpet, if you will.
Right.
And so they would roll it out, and there'd be another roll ready if he changed directions, and they would roll the last one up, and they would just keep doing that. And that was
crazy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, how could they lie about that? Like, I mean, maybe they exaggerate a little bit, but probably it feels true,
Right.
Wow.
There was this crazy story about a battle in which one side lost because of one of its luxurious tendencies, which is to teach their horses, even their war horses, to dance to musical instruments as a means of performance, right, before the court.
Right.
So the story goes, and again, this is from an ancient source, and who knows, right? But the text certainly said that. So basically, these two armies met, and the opposing army knew of this, and so when this luxuriant empire charged with their horses, the opposing army played music, and the horses stopped, threw their riders off, and began their performance.
Okay, and that one I doubt a little bit, but that's still amazing.
It's still a great story, right? Yeah. But so so much of it is hearsay and hearsay and hearsay.
Right.
Some of it is
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I mean, some of it is like the one about because some of it is ancient stories, yes, from an ancient story, and there you go. Who knows, right?
Right. And what bar, on it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No, I heard this guy does it presently. And he's like 3 empires, 3 small empires away.
Right.
And it was just crazy. One more, and that is that there was this royal house in the city-state, and they so loved their just drinking constantly. It would basically be wine houses every few hours down the road. That would take you to like major resorts and things like on the coast.
Yeah.
And so the procession, the caravan could just stop, let them get out and drink their fill and keep going until they were out of drink again.
That's hilarious.
So it's one of those things it's too strange to put in a fantasy setting.
Well, which is so funny is like, I mean, we have gas stations and every gas station sells beer and wine. It's like
that's
not
true.
That far from
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. If we told them that we had semi-clean bathrooms every few miles, they wouldn't believe us.
Yeah, that's true. You mean all your roads are paved? What?
That's right. That's absurd.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, is there any? So you do drop some fish, some lines in for your family, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to?
Any rumor about Algrit would be interesting. If I just ask, kind of like mention what Ramis told me. Like I hear, Algrit is speaking with Aniv's brother. And kind of just see what kind of gossip I can get out of that as well.
The mood of the table changes very rapidly.
Okay.
People glance around, make sure they're not being listened to. People change the subject. Everyone glances over to Bosin, who is quite handsome for a goblin. And you see that, women have come over to speak over his shoulder, frequently throughout the night and so on, but he just has a sour expression on his face. So Yeah, the topic just gets completely deflected.
That's okay. Then the
So
other thing,
push it. There's your miracle roll. I'm going to push it.
no, I mean, I'm a guest. I did also want to ask about any news about Ordia, kind of how, if that resolved, right? Just kind of ask, right, about the, there were strange things that happened, I remember, at Ordia's manor, but it, sounds like her assets were seized and that was taken care of. I wonder if there's been any other strange.
Most of the people here are from Anib's party.
Right. Wouldn't be from.
It wouldn't be very helpful, and it might be spreading.
Yeah, actually.
Now,
right.
If you want to, I know you're generally opposed to lying, and so I hesitate to offer this, but it'd be great just to consider saying, do we ever know if Ordia's connection to Algrit was proven or something like that? Put Algrit in the middle of it.
Wait, but he actually was kind of, right? No,
does it matter?
Does it matter? Let's do it. Why not?
I don't remember how you feel about it.
Well, yeah. Sorry, you want to roll? See how I feel about it? Yeah, that's okay. 47.
Yeah, it's. I'll give it to you. It's pretty close. 50-50. You figure it's going to do some good. And
right. Well, maybe I'll just say it's like, yeah. I mean, there's that one. There was a person named Ordia, in ours, and Algrid. It's like, yeah. I mean, you'd almost think they're working together.
Right. It's taken in. You don't know how well, but hey, it's out there, right?
Yeah.
You do see Karash, the white cactus. She, what is it with the beauty going on? She is a beautiful middle-aged Pin woman. Dressed in a very bright white. She's been sort of convinced to spruce it up, and so she has very glittering rings on. She has an enormous ruby necklace on that just I forget what it's called. It's called a pectoral. I forget. But anyway, it's a type of necklace that isn't simply a single medallion, but rather sprays out upon the array of gems.
Right.
And it is dazzling. Her staff rod wand. Her rod is tucked in a belt. It is it is some bluish metal that seems to slowly twist and revolve without, it's moving. She stands against a wall. There's clearly a seat for her about halfway down the table, and she simply stands and regards the thing with just a look of disgust and boredom.
Wow.
Fraudrum is not there.
Okay.
Neither is Doshrin, Doshrik, excuse me, the creature of a bird-like race.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Poor guy.
And there, she's simply regarding everyone. So then comes the ball, and with there's a certain change in the orchestra music, and it's apparently the processional music to signal the meal is over and that we're going upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Ushers open great doors at the hall, and they.
That's a really cool idea, using music to signal that instead of yelling at everybody like everybody listen. You know?
Exactly.
Wow.
So people rise, and the music, you realize, is coming from two places: from this chamber orchestra here, but also exactly in time with the orchestral music up at the ballroom.
Oh, wow.
And so Mia Girl, of course, is led, she's preceded by ushers and guards, and they go up. People trail away based on their seating. Ushers help, contain any confusion about when you should rise. You're probably in the next to last group, it seems, which is fine by you.
A group of hands.
That's right, very handsy here. You're kind of tired for the day, and kind of don't feel like the ballroom scene. But if you want more information, you can roll to push ahead. Otherwise, you can call it a night.
No, yeah, I think it's good. I'll call it a night here. So can
you make your excuses. I'm
allergic to balls. I'm sorry.
There's only one set of balls you're not allergic to. Aldrips.
Oh my gosh.
So you excuse yourself and off you go. You make your way back to the back to your quarters. A guard comes up to you, goblin, male, and says, a word, my lady, and says, pats your hand, says, forgive my forwardness, but I'm glad I haven't lost my touch with disguises, and looks you straight in the eye. And it's Algrit's spy.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
And gives you a bow, and off she goes. He, she.
They're female presenting, but they're disguised another male presenting in disguise. So it's still, I have no idea. Okay. They just leave. They just
okay. Have a word and go.
Okay. Literally. Good and interesting that they're hanging around here.
Well, when two nobles meet, it's
at least, and she's a spy of scruples as well. So
she certainly doesn't care for any sort of demon involvement.
Yeah. Which is, that's about as far as morals go in Karandrin. That's about like the minimum.
Exactly. I don't like Nazis, but
yeah, exactly.
I love on QI whenever like a fact about World War II or Hitler comes up, something like that, and then one of the comedians will always go, the more I hear about this Hitler guy, the less I.
That's hilarious.
And Jimmy Carr has a great line about, say what you will about Hitler, but he did kill Hitler.
I totally didn't see that coming.
Oh
my gosh.
So, retire to your room. There's a note from Aldruff that it's like, I am dying to see you, but I am almost dead on my feet from this past week.
Oh, of course.
Your clothes have been washed and everything, and call it a night, and then we can call it a night.
I think so, yeah.
All right. So we'll start maybe with our 3 rolls that we do at the end of a day, and we'll do that next week. Is that right? Yeah. So we're going to do another Wednesday, gang, and then we're going to do Monday. I believe it's the 18th. But we'll have all that up for you on YouTube at least. So yes, so we're going to do the 13th and then the 18th, and that'll be our last one for the year. So we'll make it to 116.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, and then we should be back January 10th. It's a little early, and we'll re-announce all of that at the end of every stream. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. More of a social episode, I grant you, but still sort of interesting, gathering information to make decisions with, and to choose what role to play in some of these machinations. So, but thanks for everybody hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. If you think we're doing a good job, then do hop to DonorBox and send us a little love. Help us keep streaming. If you want to hear more from Max, and I really think you do, then do hop to his channel you see down there, where he discusses the role of music and original soundtracks in video games. Thanks as always to Elliot Dunafitz for their terrific character art that we use almost every episode for Brise. If you want to see more of their work, please go to artstation.com/Tortolua. And I've written a novel called A Shore Too Far. You can find it on sale at Amazon.com. Max, say goodbye to the lovely people.
I do want to say that at the end of the year, we should have done 42 episodes, which is a pretty great number. I think we aimed for like 35 or something. So
yeah, 35, 36. Yeah.
I'll pat you on the back too.
Oh, thanks, man.
Behind the camera there, if you can feel that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.
That's right. Thanks, guys.
How I ate your horsey, Quinn says. Good night, everybody.
Have a horse eating week. That's what we're saying. All right. See you, everybody.